Hi everyone, my name is Oluwatobi Olowu and I welcome you to the very first edition of the Qorent-Xperts podcast. And just to give a bit of a background, the Qorent-Xperts feature is basically a platform where that's members of staff of Qore, get to share insights, knowledge, industry highlights, and just current trends as it obtains in their various field of endeavor. At Core, we pride ourselves in hiring the top 1% of the 1%. So you are assured of getting top insights from top industry leaders as well. And this morning, I have with me the amazing Oluwatobi Olowu. He's a product designer here at Core. And we're basically going to just be walking through creating user-centric experiences for fintech. And Toby is an awesome product designer with over 5 years experience that spans across different industries from finance to government to startups, social media, entertainment, e-commerce, manufacturing. I mean, he has a long list. So this morning, permit me to give a rousing warm applause to Oluwatobi Olowu as we'll just be discussing design thinking in fintech, creating user-centric experiences. Hi, Toby.
Hi, Tolu. I was just going to add like a drum roll while you were doing the introduction.
Drum roll.
Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to
It's great to have
today's.
you on the podcast, Toby. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Thank you too.
So we're going to jump straight into the questions, and I'm sure that you're ready for us to share as much.
Yes. Let's jump into it.
So, Toby, how does design thinking play a role in the financial industry, and why is it important to create user-centric experiences?
Okay. Design thinking, has been practiced in the financial industry in Nigeria for a long time. So what people would relate to, it basically would involve getting feedbacks, complaints, or suggestions from customers, right? And working on them to achieve a great product that can be used and the users can gain satisfaction from. So what we're doing is we're just putting the refine to it, right? So in the right definition, design thinking is a crucial approach, right, in financial industry because it puts the user at the center of the product development process, right? How do they do this? By emphasizing with the needs, behaviors, and pain points of the users, right?
Mm-hmm.
Financial industries can create solutions that truly, resonate with their customers. In an era where customer experience is a competitive advantage, design thinking helps to build user-centric financial products and services that are intuitive and easy to use, leading to increased user satisfaction and loyalty. So basically, if we're building a product, right,
Mm-hmm.
the features of the product will be centered on what the user wants, what the user needs, the current challenges they are facing while, dealing with financial institutions or a financial app. The product that we create will be based off on not just what we think that they want, or our assumptions, but their actual wants. So the whole process of getting, that together is called design thinking.
Wow, awesome. So if I get you correctly, so design thinking puts the customer at the center of the whole process and is much more than just creating what you think the users want, but what actually addresses their needs and their challenges.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, awesome. So I'll go right to the next question. What are the key steps in design thinking process that you think fintech companies should follow to improve their products and services?
Okay. By standard, that most people would know, maybe product designers or product people, familiar with the space. I think the basic one is empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. This is the most familiar steps that you take in the design thinking process. Although there are other steps, there are other processes, right? So fintech companies, or financial institutions can start by empathizing with their users to understand their financial challenges. What does this mean? You need to put yourself in the shoes of the user, brainstorm about, what are the possible problems, and then engage the users to find out what the problems really are, right? This is, all done in the empathize stage, right? Even apart from, engaging the users, you can also go out there to search, do market analysis, what is out there, what are the user experiences, what are the competitors doing. All these are, within the empathize stage, right?
Okay.
I mean, then from the empathize stage, you define the problem, right? After your research, and state the problem that you aim to solve from this research. And then this is the most interesting part of it, the ideation stage. It comes into play. This is where, creative solutions are usually brainstorms, the how might we session, how can we solve the problems that we have identified, right? At Qore, we do this a lot. There's a lot of brainstorming sessions to solve user needs, I'm glad that the amazing management and people that we have here that can conceptualize solutions from every single angle in the industry. I mean, this is the major reason why I joined Qore in the first place. We have really smart people. After the brainstorming session, right, everything is, fleshed out. We've done a session with everybody in the team, from the product managers to developers, to think about, how the solution would work, what is the best approach to take, and all that. After that is where, myself as a designer, my hands get really dirty, right? This is the design and the prototype phase, right? This is where we get a structure of the solution, we put like an information architecture or user flow to understand, how the user will flow. If it's a mobile banking app, how they will flow from the login, to the dashboard, perform transfers. So this is where the structure of that application is put on paper. This is the stage where we do things like wireframes to get the skeletal structure of the way the app would look and the arrangement of different features. And then proper design, adding colors, aesthetics, making it look, like I would like to say, making it look premium, right? And then prototyping it, connecting all the screens and interactions. This is the stage, the prototype stage, right? Then after this stage, it's also important. Like I said, design thinking is all about the user, right? You've engaged the user, discover their problems, you've brainstormed ways to solve those problems, you have like your first solution in hand, but then you still need to validate, right, from who you created the solution from. So this is where, the testing phase comes in, where you meet the users, right, show them what you've done and have them walk through it and have them give feedbacks and validate. Before then, we usually do validation within the team itself, to, bounce off ideas. Does this flow actually work? This is what it looks like. What do you guys think, right? Before we go out there. So it's an iterative process, right, that helps to refine products and services to better meet user needs and expectations.
Awesome. Wow, thank you so much. That was quite detailed and self-explanatory. Even not being a product manager, I could basically just scale it down to another industry. So my next question to you is how do you think fintech startups generally can use limited resources, because that's a constant constraint. Use limited resources and incorporate design thinking into their product development and design process, like from small scale. Just how do you think they can do that?
Okay. Fintech startups, with limited resources, yeah, can
Yes.
embrace design thinking by focusing on a lean approach, right?
Mm.
They can start by conducting user interviews, surveys to empathize, like I mentioned, with their target audience without a
Yeah.
significant cost, right? You know, mind you, your target audience could be part of your organization, right? Before you recruit users outside, for user research, for testing, try stuff that fits your demographic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then from staff, you can, graduate to your current customers, right? They're easier to reach, right? And then your future customers. I think next they can, collaborate with cross-functional teams to seek feedback from the earliest stage of product development. It's very crucial. Using low-cost prototyping tools, conducting usability tests, can help to, refine the solution effectively. It'll also be good for me to mention Lean UX, right? Lean
Okay.
UX, it's very beneficial in a situation like this. Lean UX is basically a methodology that applies the lean principles, especially to the field of user experience design. It's an approach to designing digital products and services that prioritizes user-centered design, collaboration, and iterative testing. Like I mentioned 5 steps in design thinking, right?
Yeah.
But in the Lean UX, right, you prioritize the user-centered design. Collaboration is very important, and testing. So what you basically do is you get, feedback from the customers, do collaboration with your team. Mostly this will be done using design sprints or sprints with everybody involved, cross-functional collaboration with developers, product managers, other stakeholders, to bounce off ideas, and
Mm.
straight into prototyping, designing, right? So that there are lots of activities, that might be skipped because, like you said, because of limited resources, right? So the designer can jump straight into, designing the application and prototyping, and then straight off to continuous testing and iteration, right?
Mm.
Test with real users, making rapid adjustments based on their feedback, and the MVP is churned out. So the lean UX shifts the focus, from output such as, detailed documentation, detailed process, to outcomes such as achieving a desirable user experience. So, like I said, it's all about the user, right? But
Yeah.
in a structured environment, we have to follow some processes, do this step, document this, do that step, document it. But with the lean approach, all these are, not the focus. The focus is about, what is the user thinking? What have we done about it? What does the user
Mm.
think about what we have done about it? So it's a very fast approach, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So
Awesome.
that's what I suggest.
Okay. So the lean UX basically taking out some ingredients of the old process that are not in quotes now, not like they're not important, but they are not as crucial to achieving your end goal, so that you can manage resources within a particular time frame. That's a
Yeah.
way that fintechs can go about still
Yeah.
integrating design thinking. Awesome.
Yes. With a
Awesome.
strong emphasis on rapid testing, collaboration, and the user-centric approach. Very important.
Awesome, awesome. So my next question, we're wrapping up very soon, but I've really, really enjoyed this conversation and it's been insightful. My next question is are there emerging trends or technologies in fintech that are particularly well suited to design thinking approaches?
Yes, there are amazing trends, emerging trends in fintech. For example, we all know artificial intelligence, blockchain, open
Mm,
banking. You know, they can greatly benefit from design thinking. AI can be used to personalize user experience. Uh, Example could be a personalized chatbot for optimal support for customers, right? I think Microsoft just launched their Copilot, right? That, is kind of a chat GPT for Microsoft that works with
mm,
almost all their products, right? And I think it also has an engine that, developers can ride upon to create their own, AI enhanced applications. So that is something that fintechs can jump on. While blockchain, can enhance security and transparency. I mean, blockchain is what our sister company Zone is focused on, right?
yeah.
Using blockchain to solve user problems in the financial industry in Nigeria. An example of that would be using blockchain to solve chargeback issues, right? In fact, not solve, like disappear anything that concerns chargeback. There will be no chargeback issue at all. So this has been a major
Mm,
pain in the financial space. Yes, so I think these are the major trends. These are the major trends in fintech right now.
okay. Thank you so much, Toby. So another question is, how do you think design thinking helps fintech company address financial literacy and inclusion, especially for the undeserved or unbanked population?
I mean, design thinking can play a vital role in addressing financial literacy and inclusion, right? I think it has been doing that already, right? By understanding the unique needs and constraints of the undeserved population, fintech companies can create intuitive, you know, interfaces, educational tools that simplify financial concepts. Moreover, you know, they can also create solutions that work well in low resource environments,
Mm,
to offer services in local languages as well. Let me give you an example of something that exists right now that was specifically built for this kind of scenario. For example, USSD transactions,
true.
right? And it is a perfect solution for the underbanked, right? It provides means of banking. Just with one or two key presses, you've transferred money, with
Mm,
as little as a 2G network. You can do financial transactions. I think almost all banks have USSD in Nigeria. NIBS has, something called Mcash, different from all other banks. And then other fintechs have their codes too. So this is a very good example for financial inclusion as well. And then we have the agency banking, right? I know at Qore,
mm,
we have an ancillary product called Cluster, which is focused on agency banking, network merchant services, right? Where
mhm,
basically where a bank branch cannot go, an agent can go, set up a small kiosk with their,
um,
app, Cluster app, and provide services to people that, cannot reach the bank physically, or it will take them a while to reach the bank in this kind of area. So these are kind of the initiatives that design thinking has helped to solve in our industry right now. I mean, the thought of being able to access financial services with just a 2G network, right? I remember these are initiatives that we have right now. Taking it a double notch, right, would
okay.
be accessibility as well. Considering those kinds of users and, include the use of different languages, less complex languages in our apps. I mean, just solving these specific problems, right,
Mm,
would go a long way, right? It not only enhances, financial literacy, but also promotes financial inclusion and making banking services accessible to, a broader demographic.
awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Toby. Okay, so as we wrap up, you say any word of motivation. So I would just like to ask you, what advice would you give to individuals, upcoming product designers, or teams that generally want to incorporate design thinking, yes, but also just want to come into this space of product design? What word of advice would you give to them?
I mean, my advice would be start cultivating a deep understanding of your users, right? I know sometimes as designers, we at the early stage, right, we assume, we make some
Mm,
assumptions to, be able to ask the right questions when we interview users, right? That is fine, but there should be a limit to our assumptions, right? Our assumptions can be dangerous sometimes. So
mm,
it's very important to have a data driven design based on what the users think or the user experience, because at the end of the day you are creating these applications for your user, right? So invest time, listening to your target audience, invest time, understanding about, the users, invest time knowing about how these users use different products, how their experience are, right? So you can be able to create the perfect product, you know, that can
mm,
solve their problem, right? Also, another thing I would like to mention is, it's also important to involve, cross-functional teams, when, doing collaborative sessions, right? From designers to developers to business experts, to gain a diverse perspective. I know sometimes developers will complain at, the amazing designs that designers come up with, right?
mm, mm,
It's looking amazing on screen, but the actual implementation process is a disaster, right?
mm,
So, it will take a lot of time or a lot of resource. So it's good to, collaborate with these people, get their ideas. If we have a solution, how do they think is the best approach to solve this, right? So this is why this process is important, right? The designers have their expertise, developers have their expertise, business experts, everybody fusing together to solve the user problem and also to meet the business goals. So then lastly, I think be open to feedback. Feedback is also very important because your users are going to give you feedback, industry
mm.
experts are going to give you feedback, and developers too are going to give you feedback. So there's it's just a continuous process. It's what helps us improve our products. It's what helps us improve as designers as well. Feedback and
Mm,
iteration is very important. As design thinking is an iterative approach, right? So also,
mm,
always question how your product or services can better serve the needs of your customer and be ready to adapt and improve as you learn more from them. So I think this point would be you've created a product, right?
mhm,
I mean, some certain level of users have accepted the product, but it doesn't mean that, it should stop there. As a designer, you should be thinking of new ways to improve that product. What are the new trends in technology that can be infused to the experience is okay, but what can you do to better that experience, to make it more better, right? So
mm.
it's a continuous process of improvement. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
my advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Toby, for such an insightful conversation. I mean, I personally learned a lot, and I know quite a number of people too who are going to be listening to the podcast would also learn a number of things from the wealth of knowledge that you've shared. Thank you so much for your time and being on the podcast once again. Look forward to more episodes of the Qorent-Xperts with you.
Yeah, thank you, Tolu, for having me. And to our audience, I hope the insights, right, that I've shared are really helpful. I mean, you guys can, give your opinion on the comments, ask questions, and we'll keep the conversation going. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Talk to you later, Toby. Bye.
All right, bye.